In this review of the week's news, there's hope for the homeless. A site is chosen for the Earthquake Victims Memorial and tea time returns to the Botanic Gardens. This is CTV News Week in Review. I'm Grant Mangan. A $200,000 building restoration could see homeless people off the streets of Christchurch.
Homeless in Christchurch are welcoming a council proposal to create a temporary shelter for those living rough on the streets. The Housing Committee of the Christchurch City Council met yesterday and came to a decision about how they will tackle the homeless situation.
To recommend to the Council's meeting 2 weeks tomorrow a temporary shelter for people to go to, so that will serve to buy a bit of time till we can get them into our own social housing.
The plan is to resurrect the old City Mission building and convert it into 4 units. If all goes ahead, the government will front up $100,000 towards the $200,000 the shelter will cost. Deputy Mayor Vicky Buck says the council will cover the remaining $100,000. Christchurch City Councillor Glenn Livingston says the shelter will be a place for the homeless people to stay for up to 2 to 3 weeks until they are able to find somewhere more permanent.
It's the old Mission building in Hereford Street. They're going to open that to accommodate up to 4 people. Could be a single parent and a child in 1 unit, but we know that other initiatives may well be forthcoming with the government. So this is just the start.
Glenn Livingston says it's just the beginning of finding solutions for a growing problem. Councillor Livingston says putting a figure to the number of homeless people in Christchurch is difficult. In the city, Glenn Livingston has a rough idea of numbers, but out in the suburbs, it's a different story. People who live in compromised living conditions, sleeping in the sand dunes, cars or overcrowded houses are all on the spectrum of homelessness.
In Latimer Square, if you tried to put a figure on things, it could be, say, 50 people roughly, 50 to 70 without shelter, a good number of youth. But homelessness by definition is a hard thing to get a grip on. It extends right across the spectrum.
The current City Mission shelter is welcoming the proposal, saying they are already at capacity. More than 30 homeless people visit the shelter a night. The proposal will be taken to the Christchurch City Council meeting in 2 weeks' time. Joelle Batista, CTV News.
The blessing and turning of the ground at the new technology precinct signifies new beginnings in the CBD.
The turning of the ground is a fresh start for Vodafone, moving back into the central city. Vodafone New Zealand is the anchor tenant for Christchurch's innovation project. To be built on Chewham Street, the blessing of the site and inaugural sod turning ceremony today marks the start of the journey for Vodafone. Planning on getting the building up and running within the next 18 months, Technical Director Sandra Pickering believes leading the digital movement requires staff to work innovatively as well as using fresh technology.
So this building will be completely wireless. There'll be no paper. People will be able to work in different zones with different technologies. And I guess the key thing about this building for us is that we're creating what's going to be called the Vodafone Zone, which will be an innovation precinct within our building to partner with customers and new businesses to build products and services directly onto the Vodafone network.
The $50 million South Island headquarters project will see all corporate employees under one roof.
We are going to be locating around 350 staff in this building, but there'll be capacity for us to have a huge number more than that. So what we're hoping is by locating in the central city, being alongside our customers, there's going to be lots of room for growth and expansion. Leading the way back to the central city, Vodafone hopes to boost the business rebuild and wants to see more businesses doing the same. For us, being the anchor tenant in this precinct, we hope will help drive other businesses to come here, but I think the whole area will be really critical to the rebuild and recovery of the central city, so we're hugely excited by it.
Vodafone expect to fully occupy the site in early 2016. Joelle Batista, CTV News.
The Canterbury Earthquake Memorial is to be built on a site beside the Avon River.
February 22nd, 2011 was a day that brought shock, it brought sadness, it brought grief, but it also brought courage and heroism and determination.
More than just a moment to remember, the Canterbury Earthquake Memorial will be a space for reflection, remembrance and honour. Earthquake Recovery Minister Jerry Brownlee announced the memorial will be built on the edge of the Otakaro Avon River between Montreal Street and Rhododendron Island. Melia Dalzell says the memorial will be an important part of our future city.
Well, to celebrate the beauty of this place and what it becomes as part of our future heritage as a city. This is going to be a legacy project for the city, and it's going to mean a lot more to some individuals than others, but everyone is going to feel very welcome here.
Kai whakahaere for Turunanga o Ngā Tahu, Tarmac Solomon, says the river connects us to each other and strengthens the bonds of Cantabrians. Tarmac Solomon says the river will continue to support the Christchurch people as it's always done.
New meaning will be invested into this site and its new role. Being close to water is good for the spirit. It helps us to remember our loved ones and reflect on our own ability to deal with trauma and come through hard times.
The CTV family spokesperson and former CTV employee Peter Brown says the families are pleased with the chosen site.
And I think it's good it's in a place where everybody can be remembered too, not just the ones, often we just think of the CTV ones, but there's all the others that died in Christchurch, plus all the others who were affected by it in many ways. And so it's a place for contemplation and reflection.
David and Jeanette, the parents of Matthew Beaumont, a CTV employee who passed in the quake, believes the Avon River site was a good choice.
I think it's a beautiful site. It's just lovely. It's prominent. And I think the best thing about it is that nobody died on this site.
David Beaumont says it'll be a place not just for the families of those who died, but for everyone to stop and remember.
It's lovely and quiet, and it's going to be very much a place to be able to come. And I think it's a place for all of Christchurch as well. I think it's going to be something that people who want and the tourists come in here will be able to see something and remember what happened here.
The families of the victims will be able to contribute their ideas to the memorial. Manau Kaisi lost his wife, Maysoon Abbas, in the CTV building collapse. He says he's looking forward to seeing something here, right in the heart of the city.
Hopefully they will listen to the stories that we tell them, to the what we would like to do here, what we hope to see here, and also what kind of people we lost, what they were doing, what they mean to us.
The shape of the memorial will be chosen through an open design process. The government is contributing $10 million, along with $1 million from the Mayor Relief Fund. The memorial will be ready for dedication on the 22nd of February 2016, on the 5th anniversary. Joelle Batista, CTV News.
Public consultation has commenced for the vision for central city living in Christchurch.
More than 3,000 of central Christchurch residents left the city after the earthquakes. The Christchurch Central Development Unit is hoping to attract people back to Christchurch with a plan of modern and vibrant residential areas. The CCDU released the draft residential chapter of the Christchurch Central Recovery Plan called A Livable City. The plan puts forward the vision and framework for residential developments within the city's 4 avenues. Hoping to stimulate development, CCDU Director Warwick Isaacs says the recovery of the central city hinged on the return of the residential as well as the commercial development. Wanting to see 20,000 people living in the city, Warwick Isaacs says it's crucial to attract people to live in a modern, world-class environment. The draft residential chapter document can be viewed at the CCDU website. Encouraging the public to give feedback, consultation will run until the 13th of August. Joelle Batista, CTV News.
Coming up, July is Women's Refuge Awareness Month.
Missed a show or want to watch it again? CTV is fitting in with your lifestyle. Be in control with CTV On Demand. Check out our website and follow the links, ctv.co.nz. Action Removals, offering short or long-term storage facilities, full packing services, comprehensive rates, all fully insured and with 6 vehicle sizes to choose from. Earthquake repairs? Action Removals pack, move, store and return your valuable possessions stress-free. Action Removals, a family business that has been operating in Christchurch for over 10 years. Action Removals, your one-stop removal service on time, every time. 0800 222 526.
Come in and meet the locals at the Bush Inn Centre. Whether it's to grab a coffee on the go or to catch up with a friend over lunch or dinner, the Bush Inn Centre is the perfect place. With our unique range of shops, you'll find everything you're looking for and more. Our friendly locals are always happy to help. We have plenty of parking at the Bush Inn Centre, making your shopping experience just a little bit easier. So come in, meet the locals and shop Bush Inn. You'll find us on the corner of Riccarton and Waimari Roads.
Are you looking for more from your local channel? CTV are online. Our latest listings, on-demand shows, program information, all on the CTV website. We'll see you there.
Every Saturday evening at 8 o'clock, we screen a riveting and educational documentary, ranging from history to music, culture to religion, and everything in between. Saturday night documentary, 8 o'clock, right here on CTV. It's Canterbury.
The government has shown its commitment towards the rebuild, investing money into one of Canterbury's universities.
The government is showing their support to Lincoln University, investing $107.5 million into the rebuild of their science facilities.
We have committed an investment today which will ensure that Lincoln is not just rebuilt, but is bigger and stronger than before, and that'll be good for the primary sector, good for the university and frankly the other research institutes here, and good for Canterbury.
The university lost the use of 40% of its academic floor space following the Canterbury earthquakes. This government investment will cover 1/3 of the projected cost to rebuild the entire campus, which has a price tag of $349 million.
We've got an institution that will be doing some amazing research in fantastic 21st century facilities that will give our students the opportunity to take their knowledge to the world.
The university is focusing on growing its undergraduate enrolments and the rebuild of key facilities in the next stage of returning to sustainable operations. The boost from the government will help them head in that direction.
I think there's some real momentum developing around Lincoln, and it will take a year or so, but it will lift enrolments both domestically and internationally.
Lincoln University is a specialist land-based university contributing to education and research in the agriculture industry.
New Zealand's agricultural industry survives and competes by increasing productivity every year, by doing things smarter, by coming up with new innovations, new technologies, new breeding techniques, the whole thing. And we have a history of great innovation, and this is a marker in the ground which says we're committed to continuing to improve that, not just in the next few years, but in the generations ahead.
An initial $7.5 million will be made to the university by the end of the year, with an additional $100 million being paid in instalments throughout the project. Construction is expected to start at the end of next year and is due to be finished by 2019. Emma Cropper, CTV News.
July is Women's Refuge Awareness Month. Joelle Bautista spoke to a local refuge to find out what's happening in the community.
It's not okay to say she was asking for it. It's not okay to be cruel to your boy.
It's not okay that in Christchurch, over 500 women and children need support for new family violence issues a year. For Women's Refuge Awareness Month, the 5 organisations around Christchurch are spreading awareness about the cause. Battered Women's Refuge manager Lois Herbert says providing a place of safety is the most important thing. Christchurch Battered Women's Refuge operates a confidential address house, a place where women and children can go and feel safe. Lois Herbert says the women are allowed to stay there as long as they need until they find other accommodation. With the current housing shortage in Christchurch, people need to stay longer.
The average stay at the moment is
almost 30 days, so that's a long period of time, and that's because of the housing situation in Christchurch, and that's gone up dramatically since 2010, when the average, I just worked it out yesterday, was 9 days. So that's a really big change.
Lois Herbert says it's important for community to be aware of family violence. Many victims of family violence feel isolated from their friends, families and networks. The support worker says it's not okay for anyone to turn a blind eye.
It's better to ask the question of the person and say, I know what's happening in your family, can I help you? What can I do to help? Than to leave it. You know, because if you let it go, it feels to the victim as if our society's condoning that.
An important part of the trust is not only looking after women and children, but caring for the men.
So it's really important that we stand up and we say, our society doesn't need this, our women and children need protection, and our men need support to be the good men that we know they are.
The Battered Women's Trust has a special focus on offenders, making sure they receive the help they need.
We've taken 2 years to make sure that program runs really successfully, and it's making an enormous difference, and there's been a lot of uptake. Men abusers have shown to be much more willing to engage with services than we expected. So that's really positive, and it's an important part of what we do now.
The Women's Refuge Collective received government funding to assist them with their services. The Battered Women's Trust say this only covers half of their operational costs. The refuges are collecting donations this week to keep the key organisations running and allow them to help others in their recovery.
Raising awareness is about making sure that people who need the services know where to go and know how to get those services and can get them at the time they need them, even if it's 2 o'clock in the morning.
Joelle Batista, CTV News.
The Selwyn District Council is doing its best to make sure learner drivers are confident on the roads.
These drivers are being put through their paces on the racecourse, so they're safer on the streets. Covering all the basics, including emergency braking, driving on different road surfaces, managing distractions and basic vehicle maintenance.
On this car it's got ABS brakes, okay, so what you can feel is your brakes pumping, okay, at the wheels. All right, so what's happening is the car is keeping traction, all right, which means it's not skidding.
Dozens of teenagers are spending their holidays taking this leading learner course run by the Selwyn District Council. Georgia Boniface is one of the drivers gearing up to sit her restricted licence.
How do you think once you're finished here today you're going to feel out on the roads?
Hopefully a lot more confident because I know what to do in situations that aren't the best.
But it's not just for the learner drivers. The parents are there to learn and help as well.
So we're just making some variety of obstacles. So we're going to simulate like there's a hole or roadworks or something here, and they'll have to negotiate their way around it.
I've been a traveller all my life, and I've had many of a close call. So I think kids at a young age doing this sort of thing is very beneficial.
This is Georgia's dad, testing her concentration when obstacles present themselves, as well as having a bit of fun along the way.
I think it's really good. Things like this weren't available when I learnt to drive 100 years ago. It was more trial and error, mostly error, I think. So, it's a great thing for them, and hopefully they all get something out of it.
In the Selwyn district alone, 15 to 24-year-olds have been involved in over 180 crashes, 11 of those resulting in the loss of life. That's why the local council are urging young drivers to be more confident and capable on the roads.
There's a lot of restricted drivers that they know what they're doing, it's just in bad conditions. It's nice to know what to do.
It's safe to say these drivers are one step closer to passing their restricted licence and becoming safer on local roads. Emma Cropper, CTV News.
Still to come, high tea returns to the Botanic Gardens.
Southern Newsweek is an Otago-based news bulletin. Produced locally in Dunedin, it's your chance to catch up on everything that's happening in the community. Southern Newsweek, Saturday at 6:30 p.m. and repeated Sunday at 10 a.m. right here on CTV.
My son's helped me greatly with my independence now that I've got more mobility.
Mum, I've been looking into stand assist chairs from More Mobility. They recline back with a footrest, then when you want to get out of them, they stand you up. You can even sleep on them. More Mobility can bring one out for a free trial. There's even electric beds too. What do you think? For more range and more expert advice, see More Mobility, corner Clarence and Princess Streets off Blenheim Road.
What a difference more mobility makes.
Welcome to Caltex Redwood. We're a family-owned business proudly supporting our local community. We're open 24/7 for fuel and shop goods, and we have an amazing team of people ready to help you. Save at least 6 cents per litre using AA Smart Fuel cards. We also offer great value on our LPG bottle fills. We have a full workshop and Bridgestone Tyre Centre. Our mechanics and tyre technicians will get your car sorted. Caltex Redwood. We're just down from St Bede's on Main North Road. Caltex Redwood. What drives you?
Come on down to Ferrymead Golf. Care for a game of paintball? How about some swings on the old driving range? Or on our par 3 9-hole golf course? Test your skills on the mini golf course or have a go at the airgun shooting range. Then relax at the Wow Cafe with one of our super succulent Wow Burgers. Whether you want to perfect your swing or are looking for a fun family day out, come down to Ferrymead Golf, 50 Ferrymead Park Drive, right next to the Ferrymead Heritage Park.
The Tiki Tour Ride. Kia ora!
Hey, my name's Victoria.
And my name is Nana. Climb aboard the Tiki Tour bus and join in on all the fun.
Every Saturday at 8 here on CTV.
Ka kite.
Enjoy the show.
Beautiful the horse was a familiar sight around the central city until her owners auctioned her off to a new home. Marcus Gibbs visited her at a secret location and met her controversial owner.
Down on the farm and loving it, Christchurch horse icon Beautiful has traded the city life for the country after a local animal activist won her at auction.
Got her off the streets of Christchurch at last. Yeah, definitely happy about that.
Nikki saw her chance to save Beautiful when the horse was sent to auction at the end of June. The young filly had spent most of her life living on the streets until she was impounded by authorities when her former owner Richard Hayden lost control of his other horse and it was hit by a car on Brom Street. Nikki runs a South Canterbury rescue centre for horses and knew she had to save her, spending $1,100 at auction just to bring Beautiful home to the farm. She's settling in well.
But she's clicked on really well now and she's had a good roll, so she's nice and relaxed and getting dirty like a horse should at this time of the year.
Surrounded by other horses, this is more of a home than the streets of Christchurch. Beautiful's hoofs are worn flat because of the city's harsh terrain.
She didn't have a good stable diet. She was living in an area where there'd been an earthquake and there was rubble and glass.
Because of her reputation as an animal activist and neglected horse rescuer, Nikki has faced flack from the public since news of the sale spread.
We've got nothing to hide. Yep, we have a few skinny horses, and if people are going to ring up and complain about them, I've got no problem about that. Especially if the SPCA come out and check on them, because that's what I lobby for. That's what I do. I want to see them out there looking after the horses' welfare.
An animal control officer from the Selwyn District Council visited Beautiful while CTV News was filming. He had no problems with the condition of any of the horses on the property.
She looks like a really happy horse actually. She's got some equine company and seems really well, looks well, and seems happy.
Most of the hate seems to stem from a very public trial in 2010 when Nikki was accused of stealing 5 horses from Emerald Lodge 3 years earlier. Nikki alleged the Emerald Lodge stud was financially struggling and wasn't feeding its horses. She rescued them and hid their new home from the police and the SPCA. When her case went to trial, she was acquitted by the judge, but her name has been tarnished.
People still think I steal horses. I never stole those horses at Tui Creek. We never got acquitted. We didn't even get to put our side of the case across.
These photos show how undernourished these horses were when she brought them to her farm. Now, after a few years of love and attention, they look a lot healthier.
We spend thousands at the vet. I've just paid off an $8,000 vet bill for work that we've had done on a few horses. The same day I rescued Beautiful, I had to put one of my old Emerald Lodge horses down. I paid $500 just so I could have her buried at home here. Bit of respect.
This farm is home to about 40 rescued horses and another 15 that have been bred. The family doesn't believe they should be criticised for the work they do.
It costs us a lot of money. We go out of our way to help so many people. There's cases we don't tell anyone about because they're so controversial.
After 9 years of rescuing horses, Nikki Sabritsky knows this is her calling and she won't be stopping her work anytime soon. Marcus Gibbs, CTV News.
The Waimakariri District Mayor says the future of the residential red zones will be announced within the next few weeks.
Nearly 4 years ago this September, the township of Kaiapoi was devastated by a 7.1 magnitude earthquake. The town is slowly recovering, and as detailed last night at a community meeting, new commercial and residential developments are kicking off. Very soon the government and the council will start consulting the community over what to do with this abandoned land.
Community will now be able to we'll start talking seriously about the residential red zones, which are a considerable part of Kaiapoi, and hopefully we can get that underway within a month or two.
Cabinet still needs to sign off the plans, and although the Mayor says it could take up to 2 months, he's optimistic it will only be a few weeks before the plan can be announced.
So that'll be pretty exciting for Kaiapoi.
Brent and Shirley Cairns are some of the last people to continue living in Kaiapoi's residential red zones. They love the way nature has started taking over the suburbs once more. They're eager to find out the future of the red zone and how it will affect them. Other fringe zoners living on the edge of the residential red zone are also looking forward to finding out what will happen to their streets where their neighbours once lived. Marcus Gibbs, CTV News.
The Botanic Gardens tea kiosk is to be repaired and strengthened in time for this summer.
Over 1 million people visit the Botanical Gardens every year. The Christchurch City Council Community Committee has chosen to repair the Botanic Gardens tea kiosk. The Botanic Gardens is one of Christchurch's most popular attractions. There's been a tea kiosk there since 1910. The facilities rebuild program allows the council to identify 30 priority facilities for further investigation, funding or repairs. The repair of the earthquake-damaged kiosk is estimated to cost $110,000. The work needed to strengthen the building will be a main focus. Currently, the kiosk is at 7% of the new building standard. The Christchurch City Council is planning to increase that number to sitting between 40 and 50% of the building standard. The tea kiosk has been closed since the Christchurch earthquakes. The kiosk is nearby to the garden's main playgrounds and is a popular spot for local families. The council are hoping to have the garden's tea kiosk strengthened and repaired in time for 2014 summer. Joelle Bautista, CTV News.
That's CTV News Week in Review. I'm Grant Mangan. Have a great weekend.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.